Command, this is Warlord 6. We have visual on the target building. Requesting air support, ETA.
Move, move! Take cover on the left! Ah, I'm hit! I got you. Keep moving.
We have to keep moving.
I know, I'm trying.
Move up! Take cover behind the barrier! Go, go, go!
I'm out! Reloading! Cover me! Take cover! Incoming! Move!
Watch your spacing, eyes up.
The world in 2026, well, it's on a knife's edge. From digital wars fought in cyberspace to old-school superpower showdowns, we've entered a new era of instability. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the 10 key conflicts that are really shaping this volatile new reality. You know, there's this one sentence from our source material that just perfectly nails the moment we're in. We're not talking about a few isolated hotspots anymore. Nope, we're looking at a world where instability has basically become the new normal, and it's touching every single continent. And that's exactly why so many people are calling 2026 the year of uncertainty. Think about it. Existing wars are getting bigger, new flashpoints are popping up seemingly out of nowhere, and conflicts that have been simmering for years are threatening to just boil over in some really terrifying ways. So to really get a grip on this, we need to look at 10 key pieces of this global puzzle. Each one tells a part of the story, and when you put them all together, they paint a picture of our world in 2026 that is, well, honestly, it's pretty startling. All right, let's start with a conflict that has no front lines, no trenches, and no borders. We're talking about a war being fought completely in the digital world, but with consequences that are very, very real. Cyber warfare has officially graduated. It's moved out of the server room and gone straight into the situation room. It's now seen as a core national security threat, and these state-sponsored attacks are directly linked to geopolitical rivalries. We are literally in an age where bits and bytes have become weapons. And the arsenal for this new kind of war is just terrifyingly sophisticated. We're talking about AI-powered attacks that actually learn and adapt as they go, deepfake videos that can spark riots, ransomware that can hold an entire city's hospital system hostage. And let me be clear, this isn't science fiction. Attacks on critical infrastructure like our power grids are already a reality. But you know, these digital battles are often just one front in a much larger struggle. So now let's shift gears and look at the physical world, where superpower rivalries are pushing us all to the brink and fueling conflicts all across the globe. Our source material points to Latin America as a really key flashpoint. It describes this scenario from late 2025 where the US, under President Trump, takes direct military action in Venezuela. In this scenario, the move is condemned around the world and dramatically, you guessed it, raises the temperature in the whole region. Meanwhile, the war in Ukraine just keeps grinding on, now approaching its 4th year. It's become a very clear proxy battle between global powers. On one side, you have Ukraine, backed by NATO. On the other, Russia is getting support from China and North Korea. This global alignment just turns up the heat, and looming over all of it is the constant threat of nuclear escalation from Moscow. Now, let's jump halfway across the world, where another flashpoint is simmering. China's been running these massive military drills all around Taiwan, and frankly, they look a lot less like practice and more like a dress rehearsal for an actual invasion. A coalition led by the US, Japan, and Australia is standing with Taiwan, which has created one of the most dangerous standoffs on the entire planet. And then there's the Korean Peninsula, where the two sides are just moving in completely opposite directions. While North Korea is officially calling the South its principal enemy and ramping up its nuclear program, South Korea is trying to de-escalate. This huge disconnect creates an absolute powder keg, where just one single miscalculation could be catastrophic. Okay, so we've talked about new kinds of battlefields and tensed superpower rivalries. Now let's turn to some of those long-running conflicts, the old wounds that, instead of healing, are actually festering and becoming way more dangerous. Taking a look at the Middle East, our source material describes a situation where Israel has achieved military dominance. They've weakened adversaries like Hezbollah and degraded Iran's capabilities. But here's the critical problem the analysis points to. Despite all that military action, there's no political solution anywhere in sight. So the entire region is still on a knife's edge, with a constant risk of a much, much wider war breaking out. Shifting over to Africa, we see one of the world's absolute worst humanitarian disasters unfolding in Sudan. The civil war there has displaced a staggering 12 million people. Just let that number sink in. It's a scale of human suffering that is almost impossible to comprehend. And the human cost just continues to climb. More than 150,000 people are estimated to have been killed in the fighting between the two sides there. And what's worse, many of these atrocities are happening while the world's attention is focused elsewhere. In South Asia, you've got two nuclear powers facing off in an incredibly fragile standoff. After a major military operation in 2025, India has adopted this zero-tolerance policy toward Pakistan. What that means is the next major terror attack could be the trigger for a devastating conflict, putting the entire region on a permanent state of high alert. And right next door, the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan is also heating up. Cross-border attacks are being met with threats of aggressive retaliation, and with missile capabilities on both sides, even a small skirmish has the potential to spiral into an uncontrollable escalation fast. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the big picture. When you put all of these pieces together, from cyber warfare to superpower rivalries and these deep regional crises, a very clear and very worrying pattern starts to emerge. So what's driving all this? Well, our source material points to a dangerous combination of three key factors. First, you have unpredictable leadership making bold, destabilizing moves. Second, there's rising militarization, with countries being much quicker to use force. And third, good old-fashioned diplomacy seems to be weakening, which means there are fewer and fewer ways to pull back from the brink. And all of this leaves us with one critical question. In a world where the margin for error has shrunk to almost nothing, the real danger in 2026 isn't just which conflict will erupt next, but what happens when somebody, somewhere, miscalculates.